Hey, what's up everybody, this is Dumpster Cats. Welcome back to another Pioneer video. In this one we have a deck building video with the new additions from Mom in the form of Deeproot Wayfinder and the new Shieldred, of course. So very exciting to finally be able to get our hands on these new cards. I unfortunately will not be able to upload a full league video for today. I'm just very busy with schoolwork at the moment. But I will be able to get one out on Friday, so be on the lookout for that one with probably the same list unless I make some last minute decisions. But just in the meantime, I want to get my, kind of give a sense of where my mind is going with Mom and BG, just to kind of get the conversation started, as I'm sure you guys will take it over from there, as you have done in the past. But just getting right into it, we have 4 Deeproot Wayfinder and 3 Shieldred. Shieldred was a card that I thought, in my spoiler analysis video at the very least, was just going to be a sideboard piece, but upon further deliberation, I wanted to main deck it, and main deck a good number of copies, as you can see, just because I think the card is really powerful. It is maybe what we kind of need in this archetype to kind of push it just a bit. Plays really well alongside Chariot, going turn 4 Chariot into turn 5 Shieldred is really nice, and then you get to crew. You know, the opponent obviously sacks a creature. So lots of things to like in this deck. I think that as opposed to Rakdos, we get a bit of a higher edge to be able to play a card like this, rather like a 5-mana card like this, really, just because, kind of going on to my next point, I think that Deeproot Wayfinder actually provides an interesting form of ramp for us that I didn't really kind of talk about too much in the spoiler analysis video. I am seemingly higher on this card than I initially was, even though I thought that it was extremely underrated initially. We'll obviously see how testing goes, and again, I'm sorry I can't get out a testing video today, but again, on Friday, be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I think this card is actually going to be really nice for us. Playing full 4, just because I really do want to see it every, or as much as often, I guess I should say, just because I think it is going to be quite nice, and I do like playing it in a 25 land shell, where we are going a bit more over the top with the Shieldreds. Nothing like Invoke Despair, or I know that there's a 5 list with Casualties of War and 4 Armored Scrap Gorger. As you can see, I kind of replaced the Deeproot Wayfinders, or rather replaced the Scrap Gorgers with the Wayfinders. As again, I kind of had that new revelation that this is actually kind of a nice ramp piece. Of course we're not going to be ramping every time, and we do have to connect, which is pretty difficult to start with, but I think with 25 lands and with some other synergies that I didn't actually touch upon, like one of you guys commented that Wayfinder actually plays quite nicely with Liliana, going turn 2 Wayfinder into turn 3 Liliana plus discarding a land, then getting it back if you're able to connect. That is really nice. Obviously that's a bit win more, that as it assumes your opponent doesn't play to the board, but just kind of sequences like that, or even just in the late game plussing lands that you don't need and then just getting them back at no cost is quite nice. And that's kind of where my thinking was at, basically, with the full 4 Wayfinder and the full 3 Shieldred. Other than that, though, you may have noticed a pretty glaring difference from my previous builds in the removal suite. I am going for the full 4 Go for the Throat, which is quite ambitious, I do acknowledge. The main reasoning for this is over the past weekend, I did see like 5 Rakdos decks or something crazy in the 2 top 8s of the 2 challenges play full 4 Power Word Kill. Now, I'm not sure if this is just me. I guess it must be just me, but I feel like Go for the Throat is a bit more applicable, probably just more like in a league setting rather than a challenge setting is my thinking, as Angels is not too relevant at the moment, but of course in leagues we do see a variety of more decks. So I do think Go for the Throat is the more applicable version of a 2-mana, kill spell rather than Power Word Kill. Could be wrong, could be more correct to just play like a mix of both. Could definitely be correct in that sense, but I know it's quite ambitious going for the full 4 2 mana to kill a spell, but I really wanted to try it out. I think that with no trophies, no Invoke Despairs, no Casualties of War, no like whatever Murderous Riders or anything else, I think that playing the full 4 Go for the Throat does make sense, and of course at the very least I do want to try it out. Again, it could be a mix of Power Word Kill and this card, or say maybe just 3 of these kill spells, and maybe we do want to be playing Trophy. But just too much I've been seeing Trophy just be not very applicable, and would much rather have a card like this. So we're going to be going with that, going to be testing that out. Again, kind of going along the lines of the theme of this video, which is trying out a lot of new things. I do kind of want to try that out just to see how it goes, but of course we may change things in the future. Besides that though, I haven't made too much changes to what I'm usually playing. I have cut down one Scoos just because I have noticed that in a lot of matchups he's not very relevant, and of course in multiples he's not good either. I am a big proponent of playing 3 Scoos as a staple in BGX, so it's a little sad to see him maybe not be so relevant as he once was or could be, but again, just trying new things. I want to be trying out 2 for now. But pretty much like the main thing that kind of drew me to playing the triple shieldred is just these 3, 4, and 5 drops look really nice to me. Just all 3 of us, all legendaries. We want to be seeing these pretty much just once in a given game, as they're all really, really powerful cards. Has a lot of, they all have, or each have a lot of X for 1 potential, which is very nice. And of course, they're just grindy powerhouses, which attracts me to that a bunch. And then elsewhere in the 1 and 2 drops, we just have a lot of consistency in removal, interaction, and then efficient creatures in the form of Deeproot Wayfinder. And I guess that's kind of just where my head was at in thinking this, with the 4 Wayfinder, 4 Growth of Throat, and then of course the 4, or I guess full 8 1-mana interactive spells. It just seemed to be really nice to me, and of course on theory it will be nice to have the consistency of, I guess you could say, just these 16 cards as, you know, something we could rely upon to have nice interaction, of course nice board presence as well with the creatures, and then of course we could rely upon the later game quote-unquote bombs, I guess you could call them, that we could kind of place more of an emphasis on, and then work our interaction around them to kind of establish some sort of advantage. But I do acknowledge that that is a lot of theory work, and we do actually just need to go into the leaks to do the actual testing to really find the answers about certain cards, or I guess certain card choices, and how we want to be moving forward. And, you know, it very well could mean, or very well could be, that we may just not find any answers, as this is just a very underexplored archetype that definitely needs some definite work. But that being said, I do think that Deeproot Wayfinder is a nice upgrade for us. I really hope this card is good. I'm really, really hoping, just because it is a nice 2-drop, a nice green 2-drop that fits very nicely on the curve as we see here. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to playing this card, basically. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Let me know your thoughts down below on this list and how you may want to be changing things, or how you specifically are going to be testing out BG. I have kept the Mutavaults in despite taking out the Advocates, just because I was really impressed by them. I thought they were really nice. And then added a Go Blink in the sideboard, just because I was having some iffy success against the Greasefang decks and some of the control decks, so I wanted to bring that card back in, which is pretty nice to see. But yeah, other than that, just straight up BG. Let me know your thoughts down below, especially with the 4 Go for the Throats, the 4 Wayfinders, and the 3 Shieldred. That's kind of where my speculation is at, about how, you know, these cards may not be entirely necessary to play, but of course testing is always the way to go. And, you know, maybe that it very well could be that Scrap Gorger is just the better card compared to Wayfinder, or we may just want more Scoos, or in the last video we may just want Advocate back in the mix. But yeah, with that being said, hope you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you enjoy this type of content, and yeah, see you for the next one. Thank you.